Ep13 of the Three Guys 5 Feet Apart podcast. As always, I'm your host, Michael. Joining me today is my co-host.
It's your boy, Austin.
I'm Alex.
I'm Jonah.
And we have a very special guest today. Cosplayer, content creator, entrepreneur, Peony Starling. Did I get that right?
You absolutely did. I go by Peony Felicity online, but Starling is technically my last name, so I will take it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me on here.
Thank you for coming on. You're like the first official female guest, woman guest. We're just a bunch of incels, MGTOWs. So it's hard to get really women on the podcast.
It's because we only have like 30 subscribers.
We have 30 subscribers. They're all men. They're all angry all the time. It's really a toxic environment.
Oh no.
But we do have questions for you. We prepared some questions ahead of time. We're not one of those fluff podcasts, all right? We're not gonna go and dance around the issues. We're gonna get right to the point. We're gonna hit with the hard facts. And it might intimidate you, but you know what? That's what you signed up for.
It is what I signed up for. Hopefully I can take it.
Yeah. Alrighty. We're getting right into it. How do you decide what to cosplay?
Oh, that's a very excellent question. To be entirely honest, usually I'll nerd out over a franchise for more than a month, and then I'll be like, all right, who can I cosplay? Who could I possibly look something like? I started with anime, as most people do.
Woo!
I think.
Weebs!
Yeah.
We're all weebs.
Yeah. I started out as a pretty huge weeb. I was pretty obsessed with Full Metal Alchemist, so my first cosplay ever was a gender-bent Edward Elric. Tell no one that. Aside from your, 30 subscribers, no one else can know this. It was very cursed, really low budget.
Yeah.
And I've moved on to some higher budgets. Now I'd say my favorite is any Star Wars cosplay. Anything that I can get. I mostly love aliens.
Oh
I don't know why I hate myself and want to cover myself in body paint, but I do.
Yeah, how long does that take to apply?
Oh, gosh. It also depends how much skin you want to cover. But if I was to paint my entire self in body paint, I think the last time it took me about 4 hours, and I do have an airbrush, so
I could not.
Yeah.
I could not.
Yeah.
Do you have help, or do you just have to do it by yourself every time?
It's also a really good question. Before the pandemic, I did have help. Now that we're all trapped inside, wishing and begging for death from whatever gods exist, I do it myself alone.
The lovely pandemic. That's actually a good segue into another question.
Oh yeah.
Another question I had, which is also related to the pandemic, is now that conventions are kind of coming back, is there any conventions you're really looking forward to getting back into? And do you have a cosplay plan for those?
Oh, that's a fabulous question.
Oh my goodness.
I'm excited that you asked that.
I wrote all these questions, by the way, so I'm digging all these compliments on fabulous questions.
Oh yes. Let me just absolutely simp for these questions. These are
Michael's
excellent.
the only one that ever plans.
I'm the only one that doesn't even work on the podcast. These guys are just here for my support.
We're just here.
Oh my god, so it's a group project and you are the one doing all the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
crazy.
it was
And they're
an
freeloading.
idea.
Oh, okay. Well, I know how that feels.
Back to the question.
Yes,
Enough
of course.
simping.
So I'd say that I'm pretty excited for Calgary Comic Con. That's a pretty big one in Canada. And Vancouver does a really excellent one that's really into sci-fi. So those are my two main ones because I don't know how great travel's going to be outside of it. And I'm pretty excited to bring my my Slave Leia that I've been working on, which has not been released anywhere because it's not done yet. The wig is still looking a little bit ratchet. But we're working on it. It'll be beautiful by the time I'm done. So I'm pretty excited to bring that. And I'm also working on an Ula cosplay. I'm sure I don't need to tell you who that is.
No, that's the green slave girl in Jabba's palace that gets killed by the Rancor.
Absolutely. I think watching Return of the Jedi did something to me as a child. And that's probably why I like cosplay so much now.
I think watching Return of the Jedi did something to everyone as a child. It's that first taste of I'm watching a fun sci-fi movie, and then they bring out Slave Leia, and you're just like, something's happening. This was not expected.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know what's going on, but this is very good, and I'm gonna watch the scene again.
I love the Slave Leia because there's such a cool story behind it. Because Carrie Fisher was apparently all for it. She was because she talked about how she always felt like her physique was wasted in the costumes they put Leia in because they were always very floofy. They were always very she wore like dresses that had like a lot of fabric to them, or like on Hoth she wore that like winter outfit. So she's like, finally I get to show off my body I've been working on. And then but then apparently the guy that was in charge of, they had a couple of the guys that were in charge of doing the costumes, and apparently the one that was gonna like make the molds to make the Slave Leia outfit was like really, really like excited about it, almost to the point where it's just like, okay, buddy, chill out. And Carrie Fisher got like really uncomfortable, and so she requested someone else, and so they had another prop master do it. And he commented,
can you imagine being that guy?
Yeah, like the ultimate like let down. But it's amazing because like the guy said, like he talked about it later. He was like, yeah, that guy should have kept his mouth shut because it was pretty nice.
Absolutely. He could have just minded his own business and been that close to Carrie Fisher, and yet he decided not to.
It's like the guy that had to do the prosthetics for Rebecca Romijn's portrayal of Mystique in the X-Men movies.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
that was also an iconic character that did something to my brain as a child.
Oh, yeah. I think that scene where she like kicks the senator in the face like awakened a foot fetish in like 90% of the population.
So that's so specific, but I know you're right. Like I can see the scene you're talking about.
Yeah, like she like it's not even like a kick. She just like shoves her foot in that guy's face.
She absolutely does, and you can see some like toes for sure in the shot. Like it was barefoot energy. And that was a choice they made. That was something that really affected us.
I like to think like the director is just like, Mystique, you're gonna have to show your foot for this scene. Nice and
sure
slow for the camera.
He's become very skilled at
Thank you, Terminator. All right, we're back.
Okay,
Jonah, you got a question for our esteemed guest?
Well,
Do I?
You have a list of questions in front of you.
Oh. Yeah, I want to ask, you have any advice for those trying to get into cosplay?
That's actually a really cute question. What would I say?
She said the question was cute, which I wrote. She didn't say anything about you. Fight me.
Let me have this.
Yeah, okay, Jonah, you were cute. She said you were cute. Okay, continue.
If you guys want to brawl like on the audio, that would be fun too. I would like to take bets on who I think would win.
I guarantee one of
You're scared?
episodes we're gonna have a fight.
We are gonna have a fight in this episode. The podcast gets pretty violent and contentious. Our last episode we recorded, like I thought Austin was gonna murder Chris.
Oh my god! Modern day gladiators is just through podcast now.
Heck yeah.
Okay,
back. You gotta guess what's going on.
Back to the question. Advice to get into I was about to say get into podcasting. Get into cosplay.
Okay. Advice to get into cosplay. I think most of it is passion. You gotta really want it because a lot of it is messy. It looks very glamorous with the finished product and very exciting and sexy and fun in the photos, but a lot of it is, like trying to figure out how to spray paint your own butt, with body paint.
It's not going to be sexy if any of us do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what any of you look like, actually. You might look great spray painting your own butt. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I can make it work.
Austin, you are arguably the most handsome member of the podcast.
I think you could do like a Han Solo or something, yeah.
Yeah, you could be Han Solo.
You absolutely could be Han Solo.
Your butt, Austin.
I'll be Chewbacca.
Oh my God. This is so good. I love it.
That was so terrible.
That was horrifying. Thank you.
Please never do that again.
Never do it again. We're gonna cut that audio.
No. Why do you say we're gonna cut? You don't do editing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, cosplay is definitely different for guys than it is for girls, mainly because, like, the costumes are a lot different. I know they make the joke about, like, armor and, like, MMOs and RPGs, where, like, the guys level 100 armors, like, these massive plates and everything, and the girls level 100 armors, like, 2 little metal plates to cover her boobs, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
I think that's so funny. I honestly, part of me is like, well, at least it's lightweight. Maybe she's a runner. But the other part of me is like, there is no armor class. Come on, you're telling me that the AC for this is like higher than 10? Absolutely not. Who's aiming directly for my titties? Come on.
But even like when we were talking about earlier in terms of like body painting, like if you do like a Twilight slave girl, you're painting like 80% of your body. But
you
if
sure
like
are.
if I went for like Darth Maul, I'm just painting like my face and hands.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. That's true. Although there is a really excellent shirtless Darth Maul that I would love to see more people do.
Well,
mostly because I want to
I'm
see
not-
more of the designs.
I'm not quite there yet in terms. I like donuts a lot, so I'm not really at shirtless Darth Maul level yet.
Okay, listen, but I also like donuts a lot, and I am still shirtless some of the time. You know, like
Need to up my crunches.
There you go.
Yeah, I think it's pretty awesome, like how confident you're able to be, like doing these characters, and is that a part of the reason you do it? Just because it gives you like a sense of like power and just like I don't know, like this. I'm not saying this question greatly.
That's okay. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'll give you a little bit of slack.
He needs some help.
Yeah.
He's the only one in this group that's married and talks to women, but he's
Well-
having the most trouble.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because he's not exposed to other women. You know, you get used to that one person, and everybody else is terrifying.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, I'm glad I could help you come to that conclusion.
Oh, thank you.
Oh man, you know what? Yes, a huge part of it is empowerment. Of course it is. And I have a body type that is, I would say, a standard of beautiful, but I would not say the standard of beautiful. Which is
Pick up
fine
a bowl
because,
of oatmeal.
you know, if I have to exist in this corporeal form, I should probably get pretty comfortable with it because it's going to be mine forever, you know?
Right.
So I think about that a lot. And I struggle a little bit when people are like, oh, you're definitely like BBW, which stands for big, beautiful woman, or, oh, it's so hard to find like chubby, you know, cosplayers and things like that. I'm like, okay, whoa, hold your horses. You know, you said chubby 3 times in that sentence. Like, okay, whoa.
There's a limit between like I enjoy curvy women and like just like keep pointing out that like wow you fit into this category. It's like okay, starting to get a little
yeah. They're like, wow, you're so thick and chubby and I'm like, don't say it. And they're like, and fat. I'm like, you said it.
They gotta spell it because if it's spelled with a PH, then it's a compliment.
Sure is. But you know, like phonetically, I'm not sure I could decipher the spelling into conversation. Anyways, but that being said, it's a huge source of empowerment. I do get a comical amount of hate on Reddit for existing, mostly from Star Wars fans, actually.
Star Wars fans really are like I know there's. I usually stand up for fandoms whenever people are like, "Oh, this is the worst fandom," but I will like at any moment point out when a fandom's just like, "Hey guys, chill out." Like I always talk about My Hero Academia where they're shipping characters and stuff, and I'm like, "Hey guys, they're all minors, so maybe we ease up on the lewd fan art just a little bit."
Let's just ease up a little bit. Just take your foot off the gas a little bit because this is a school zone, and we do want to be going 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, these are all freshmen in high school.
My lord.
So
yeah, I
will be
hear
the
that.
first to point out when a fandom's like gone too far, and I think Star Wars has this weird obsession with like the purity of their media, where it's just like you can't change it in this way.
Yeah, you can't exist without having abs, and it's interesting because I'm not particularly on the large side of the scale, but I'm not a stick either. And I had one comment that told me to, and I quote, F off because Star Wars is for fit people and you're not fit. And I was like, okay, first of all, this is Jabba the Hutt erasure, okay? Second of all, like, I cannot, like, what do you look like?
I was about to say, have him send a picture, like, all right, let's see what you got. Like, if you don't have a six-pack, then you can't...
Yeah, honestly,
you better have a six-pack, and I also want to see your legs. I want to see if they're chicken legs.
Like, I went to a convention dressed in, like, the worst Superman cosplay ever, but I still went there as Superman. That. I had a shaved head because I didn't want to grow out my hair, but I definitely was not a Superman physique, but I still went because it's the character you like.
It's because cosplay is for everybody, and it's not about getting the character exactly. It's about cosplaying the spirit of the character and
this
participating
is like our most
in a
positive
fandom.
episode ever. We haven't even insulted Alex yet.
Oh my god, do you usually insult Alex? Okay, I want to know what you wrote about. I feel like I'm missing out.
I don't know why.
We bully him pretty hardcore.
Oh dear.
It's out of love.
It is. It's a very, like, we love you, Alex, but also at the same time, we gotta keep you down a couple pegs.
So, what's like we're talking about people messaging you and saying weird things. What's like the creepiest or like most cringy comments that you've ever gotten?
Have you got like creepy DMs where a guy's just like, show me booba?
Oh yes. Okay. The show me, like please show me the bobs is such a standard DM. I think those ones are quite boring. My favorite is when I will receive a DM that is like a paragraph, but communicates almost nothing. Like I had a Velma cosplay that I like quite a lot, and the skirt is fairly short on it.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Yeah,
But-
Alex was.
Well, Alex,
commenting on
I do
Velma
have an
earlier.
OnlyFans that you could be a part of.
Link in the description, everyone. If you
Yes,
wanna.
absolutely. Link in the description. Anyways, but I had this really cute little Velma cosplay that I was quite excited about, and so I posted it on some subreddits. And I had somebody DM me this long fantasy, like I'm talking 2 paragraphs long, about how this guy thought that Velma and Shaggy were totally hooking up.
What?
And about how all the spicy things he think Velma was doing to entice Shaggy. And I was like,
That's
what
weird, man.
what is this supposed to
I'm pretty
communicate,
sure Shaggy was
sir?
just high the entire time.
Yeah, Shaggy's just smoking the Mary Jane.
Yeah, that guy is just chill. He just wants to hang out with his dog and eat snacks. And honestly, I very much relate.
Oh,
For
yeah.
real,
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel that, honestly.
But,
Yeah, he's
you know,
the
I'm
MVP.
gonna say thank you for not bringing up all the creepy things I DM'd you earlier in the week, because I was kind of worried about that question.
Wait.
No way, I'm not gonna roast you.
Wait, what did he say? I need to know. Give me at least one.
It wasn't, trust me, it wasn't all that bad.
Oh.
Mostly they were just like fairly normal compliments on like content I was posting, which is welcome. I think it's really funny when people are like, oh my god, is me telling you that like I really like this thing you're posting, is that bad? I'm like, no, like please, thank you so much. This is really leveling out the 8 people telling me that I'm too chubby to exist on the internet. I
I think the
appreciate
creepiest
this.
thing I sent her was, how do you pronounce your name in preparation for this?
Oh yeah. I just send you a voice message
Yeah.
to tell you my name was in fact not pronounced Pony.
I thought
That was
I
quite
thought it was
good.
like a weird spelling of pony, but it would just be pronounced pony.
Yeah, I kind of thought
Yeah,
that too. to be
okay,
honest.
that's fair.
But-
I mean, yes, it is a flower, but I understand that it might be kind of an obscure plant
Yeah.
in places that are not, the province of Alberta in Canada.
Dang, Canadian. We've roasted Canadians a lot on this
Oh.
podcast. Now I feel bad.
That's
You
okay.
didn't
No,
tell
you don't
me
need to feel
we
bad.
were bringing
Canadians roast
Canadians.
other
Yeah,
individually
oh my
regularly.
goodness.
What?
That's strike 2
It's
with
not-
Jonah. He's about ready to leave. First, you're a
Um,
woman. Next, you're Canadian.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Believe you've done
The
this to me.
standards are low, and yet I'm failing anyways. That's a shame.
It's okay. We can always
Thank
just kick
you.
Jonah off.
Yeah, we kick someone off every episode. We kick Chris off this episode.
Yeah, Chris isn't. We normally have another guy here, Chris, Daddy Chris. 'Cause he
yes.
actually is a dad.
Yeah, as a kid.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
actually a father. That's
Yeah,
not his,
I
his
think they were doing some
dom
family
title that you
stuff
refer to
today.
him out of respect for. Okay, that's
Yeah,
good to
Big
know.
Daddy Chris.
Oh wow. Okay.
Why
I love that for him. He probably feels really empowered by you.
Because you're not big, Alex.
Oh, wow. That's mean.
Alex is a little man. He's 4'6".
No, I'm not.
He's
sorry,
4'6".
4'8".
I'm 5'8". Thank
He's
you. very
5'8".
much.
He's a respectable 5'8".
You know, you were
It's
just.
okay. You're an inch taller than me then.
There you go.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, that's all I need.
I'm a solid 5'7".
You know, Micah, you were just commenting on how this podcast was wholesome and we weren't roasting Alex.
Well, we have
and
to
then
roast
you did
Alex
that.
every podcast. That's like our ongoing joke.
You gotta have consistency. It's what the
Yeah.
listeners come back for.
We've already
It's
kicked
roasting
someone
Alex.
off, and now we've roasted Alex. We hit the 2 things we have to do every episode.
That is true.
Of course.
Okay, I have another question for you.
Oh yes.
So in terms of like your social media posts and everything you do, what kind of work goes into like your photos, your videos? How do you do you decide to stage things up? Like what kind of work goes into all of that? Because I imagine there's probably a lot to it.
Yeah. I think the trickiest part is that, because I, like almost every young adult, live in an apartment with roommates. You first have to find ways to make the 4 to 5 rooms in your apartment look interesting enough to shoot in. And then you have to change it up enough to keep it interesting. So,
Makes sense.
I have a balcony and my neighbors probably hate me because I'm out of my balcony shooting cosplay photos a lot. And I can't imagine living next door to that. Like what would that do to your view of humanity? They're like trying to mind their business, and they're like, "Oh, thick Harley Quinn's on the balcony again." Bob, take the kids
you're
inside.
out there with your wife enjoying a nice glass of iced tea.
Yeah,
It's like that neighbor girl's twerking again.
Yeah, they're like, some harlot is dressed as slutty Elvira and is working it on the pavement.
No, it's just, it gives you something to look forward to every day. Like,
that's true. That's true. Maybe
glass
I'm like the
half full.
highlight of Bob and Janet's life. Maybe that's the most interesting thing.
Austin wants to know if any like apartments around you come up for rent. He'll gladly like put up with you as a neighbor.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Just give me like the thumbs up every time I look over.
Like,
you could like applaud after.
great.
That's
You're
cool
doing
too.
great, Queen.
Yeah, you're doing so good. Take it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that goes into it a lot. Is trying to create enough variety in my photos.
Austin,
also,
get that out of your mouth.
Oh no, what do you got in your mouth?
Nothing.
Sorry, I had to interrupt real quick.
He's good at that.
I'm sorry.
Austin, what do you have in your mouth, Austin?
He's playing with a set of nail clippers right now.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's not.
I always
safe.
gotta do stuff with my
Have a
hands.
Reese's cup, buddy. Come
I
on.
already ate a Reese's cup today.
I mean, you can always
Maybe
have more.
maybe you should eat another one.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we've plowed through like all the questions I prepared, which makes me think I didn't prepare enough.
You did.
No, that's okay. I can I don't know, talk more about prep if you want. I mean, I light my photos, but I don't airbrush them,
Or
mostly
you
because I
just
don't know
wing
enough
it.
about Photoshop.
Okay.
I have no idea how to Photoshop, so all of my photos are like very much organic. I also think that Photoshop does a disservice to a beauty standard that I wouldn't meet anyways.
It is kind
And
of
I
like
don't-
the big standard of like airbrushed.
Yeah.
Ever since I learned
Absolutely. And I
Photoshop,
think
none of my photos look like me.
Yeah, I want my photos to look like me, not because I want to be recognized. That would be terrifying. Could you imagine just minding your business at Walmart and somebody's like, "Whoa, I've seen you as a blue sexy Twi'lek. I think I would just die. I'd drink bleach right there in like the cleaning aisle."
That's gotta be
immediately.
like. See, that's why I'm so glad I don't like publish my face anywhere, because but I don't do anything like that. Like that would be. Could you imagine like you go into a movie and someone's like, "I think that's that girl that dressed up that posted all those pictures of her as Harley Quinn."
I mean,
Yeah.
Have you ever had anyone recognize you like out in public?
You know what? No, actually, which is excellent. I think mostly because we're in a pandemic, so everybody's inside.
That's
And
true.
also because a lot of what I would say I'm interacting with is very international.
Huh.
And I think there's also a fair amount of shame and stigma about people joining Instagrams that have some not safe for work content or joining OnlyFans platforms. Even though you are paying an artist, you're supporting an artist, you are consuming content ethically, but there still seems to be this stigma around existing on those platforms. So I think they desperately do not want to also be recognized in public. And if they recognized you, they would have to admit that they've been on your platforms.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess yeah.
It's a
Absolutely.
very double-edged sword. Like they'd be like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
could you?
were you that Twilight girl on the stripper pole?" It's like, "Were you the simp?" And it's just like you both just
Yeah.
went separate ways.
And then you both drink bleak in the chemical section of like Walmart. You're like, all right, like cheers. No more existence for us.
That's lovely.
Have you ever had any like angry wives or girlfriends like come at you? 'Cause,
Oh
like,
goodness.
They found like
Another good question.
their boyfriends or
I
husbands
have
looking?
had 2 messages that I can count in my career of cosplaying from partners of people who were subscribing. And both of these people were women who messaged me, and I think both of their partners were men. And the first message I got was, "I love your content. My partner is like more turned on, more sexually active, more enthusiastic. We consume it together. It's like very fun and exciting for us. I just wanted to like drop you a line. Thanks for creating,
Wow.
keep doing you." And I was like, "Oh, amazing, so much." So I try not to assume that people have a partner or they'd be lying to their partner, because people have relationships in all kinds of ways.
Right.
And then the other one I got was just somebody's wife being like, "Hey, this person will not be purchasing this content that they said they wanted to purchase. Just a heads up, I'm his wife." And I was like, "Okay,
Oh.
thanks for letting me know." And she didn't say anything negative to me. She wasn't mean. She just, I suppose that her partner was doing this behind her back, and she found the account and thought it was courteous enough to like let me know what was going on, which was really, really awesome. So there was a lot of like support, even among the people who were like, "My partner is out here misbehaving, lying to me." She was still very nice to me, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
That is cool.
I mean, it would be like super weird, especially on like a platform like OnlyFans where you subscribe. That feels like it's more of an I don't want to say like the only word I can use is like more of like an intimate relationship between creator and consumer. That sort of direct marketing. So I'd understand how like people in relationships could get upset from that idea of like, well, you sought this person out, you offered to pay them for the privilege of seeing these things. So
that's so
I
valid.
can understand how that's like how that would affect a partner being like, hey, that's a lot more than just, oh, I checked out some stuff online.
Yeah. And I mean, that's fair. I think also that comes with the idea of when you just go online and you go into Pornhub and you, I don't know, type in some nasty stuff and view it and you're good and you leave. You don't know where that content came from. You don't know who made it. And you don't know if that person got paid at all or if they're being paid for their video being up. So OnlyFans is like really, really ethical, a really ethical way to consume like not safe for work content. But I also really get that you're a little too close to the creator sometimes, and some partners might not be comfortable with that. But I think that's partly cultural of how we view like explicit content.
This is so wholesome. Like compared, this is odd because this is probably like one of the more wholesome podcasts because we're actually talking about like a positive message.
Yeah.
Even though we're talking about like these kinds of things.
I'm sorry,
online.
It's probably because I'm like a social worker by day.
Yeah,
I can't
like,
help it.
This is like an oddly like positive episode where it's just like, yeah, we're talking about like ethical consumption of media. We're talking about body positivity. You know, I'm really like happy right now. Like I'm feeling like, you know, springtime.
Just excuse Michael. He'll
flowers are popping up. It's like, you know what? We can be the good guys now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you absolutely can be the good guys. Oh, but speaking of cursed conversations I've had with people using their partners. So nobody's partner has messaged me aside from the two that I mentioned. However, I do get this a lot where somebody's dad will roll up to my DMs and say something really inappropriate, really explicit, really sexual. And I'll be like, whoa, okay, like, pump the brakes, buddy, if you want to talk to me like this.
I said sorry already. You don't have to bring it up.
Oh my God! Yeah, I'll be like, oh, you know, if you want to talk to me like this or you want to like view content like this, you know, like I have this OnlyFans, this is a place to talk to me like that. You know, it's not negative. I just want you to redirect it over here. And he will say, wow, I would love to, but my wife or my girlfriend would not like that, or my wife and my girlfriend doesn't like me like talking to busty women or things like that. I'm like, all right, hold on. You thought it was okay to roll up and say this nasty thing, but as soon as I'm like holding you to it, you're like, no, my partner would not be okay with that. And for all of those women out there who are not okay with that, I immediately block those men because I doubt that she would be all right with him speaking to me like this with like anyways. So that happens a lot where they use their partners as an excuse to not pay me, but they'll still try to like exploit sexual content.
It's only okay
which is
on
exhausting.
Instagram.
Yeah.
What made you?
Yeah, they're like, spare a titty pic to get me through the cold night.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Just a crumb of coochie, please.
Just a crumb of coochie.
Yeah, please use that expression.
Wait, have you actually had someone say that?
Can I get a crumb of coochie?
Yeah, I am a simple man. Just a drop of passoir.
So I'm curious. Patreon and OnlyFans are kind of similar. What made you jump from one to the other?
Oh, OnlyFans specifically does not have policies against what people would call sex work, but Patreon does. So people who create not safe for work content on Patreon, like cosplay artists or people who are doing like not safe for work art, you know, there's a lot of furry stuff on there because that is the biggest platform for not safe for work, which is really funny. Because there's a whole market there. But that aside, they have a bunch of policies that if they suspect you have not safe for work, that they'll ban you. And OnlyFans does not have any of those. OnlyFans only has restrictions on certain words you can say that would incite violence, which is really cool.
Could you imagine like inciting violence on your OnlyFans?
You know what? You know what? You cannot type out the word choke. If you type out the word choke, OnlyFans is like illegal. You can't say that. That's not allowed.
That makes more sense. I was thinking more of like someone posted like a picture of their butt and be just like, "Go beat up Asian people for giving us the Wuhan flu." It's like that's like that was the first thing I jumped to. Like, could you imagine spreading like hatred on OnlyFans?
That would be so funny. Just like an absolute flat rate, like a platform for rudeness. I could not imagine, or for specifically targeted hate.
I bet there's an OnlyFans account where it's like a girl wearing like just a Confederate flag or something.
Oh my god.
Good Hitler cosplay.
Oh yeah,
just
like
a woman
dresses up
wearing
as,
Nazi paraphernalia and like
Hitler.
nothing else. Like her boobs are out, but she's wearing like a Hitler hat or something, or like a mustache.
Yeah, I think that'd be hot.
That's a niche market, but it's out there. That's the beautiful thing in the internet.
I'm sure it's out there. Yeah, I'm sure it's out there.
Hitler.
I hope I never find it.
I want some good Hitler.
Okay, so let's get a little bit of like a look into the future, all right? Do you have like a couple characters that you're like, I want to cosplay this character at some point? It's like 100% on your list where you're like, at some point in the future, I will cosplay this character.
Besides the Leia that you're working on.
Yeah, besides Slave Leia.
Besides Slave Leia and Ula. Okay, so speaking of anime, I'm currently working on a Kakaguri cosplay. Of course, everyone's horny, gambling favorite Netflix anime. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm unsure if I'm going to do Mary or a different character, but I ordered a lot of the cosplay pieces straight from Japan, and I was like, you know what? I'll get a 3XL to be safe. That's got to fit my bust. That's got to fit my hips. And it did not. So now I'm making it from scratch and, have spent a dumb amount of money ordering something from like Japan. Should have learned my lesson by now. So I'm pretty excited about that. I've got that in the works. Of course, Princess Leia in the works. I'm always working on new iterations of Catwoman because she is my other favorite.
Catwoman's awesome.
Yeah, Catwoman is awesome. My favorite Catwoman, of course, is like the Michelle Pfeiffer. Because
oh my goodness, that's the stitched one.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I know.
Absolutely. And also it's directed by Tim Burton, and that's just really good.
Oh, that's the downside. I don't like Tim Burton.
What? You don't like Tim Burton?
I think
what
he tries.
do you have a Tim Burton?
I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, so that's why I don't like Tim Burton.
Okay, I see.
He tries too hard. Also, Batman totally killed people in that movie.
He for sure did.
Like, he not directly, but like he ran over bad guys with the Batmobile. There was one where like a guy had a flamethrower and he like threw a batarang and the flamethrower exploded and the guy was on fire and Batman like just kicked him into a hole. It's like, that guy's dead.
Yeah, he literally like kicked him into the front of a store window and like drove off like, yep, I'm justice.
I think like from an aesthetic point of view, I like Tim Burton's stuff, but then when I get down to the story, I'm just like, this is just the edgy goth kid that just never grew up and started making movies.
Oh god, you know what? That's because I'm the edgy goth kid that never grew up and now I'm doing cosplay.
Two pats.
To be entirely fair. Thank you, excellent. Yeah, you know what? That's fair. Tim Burton was like, Batman never kills anybody except for these 8 different times.
What's the most expensive cosplay that you've ever done?
Sorry?
The most expensive
Most expensive?
Yeah.
Or the most exciting? Expensive.
Most expensive.
Oh,
every time you try to talk, Alex.
I said it right.
I was like, you're mumbling, enunciate. I would say the most expensive that I've done is probably Twi'lek. Because Leku, which are the little head tails that they have, are like custom made. They have to be made with like silicone and stuffing, and those bad boys are like $300 a pop.
Holy
USD
crap.
plus shipping. Oh yeah, and then you got to get your headpiece, which goes over in your little Leku wraps.
The last thing I
that
bought
twist
for $300
around.
was a TV.
Do you get people that Venmo you money to like buy this stuff?
Oh gosh, I wish. A lot of the times I get people rolling up being like, "Hey, do you take requests?" And I'm like, yeah, like within reason. What can I do for you?"
Like buy your whole
and they'll be like, "I
list.
want this niche specific cosplay," and I'm like, "Okay, that's at least going to be a $600 thing for me to create if it's going to be any kind of quality."
So wait.
And they're like, "Yeah."
So I was gonna request that you dress as Sexy Chainsaw Man. How much is that gonna run me?
Stop.
Sexy Chainsaw Man. Okay, do you want like the Halloween Spirit version or like the better quality version?
I was gonna say like the better quality. I want the chainsaw head to look really realistic.
Oh God. Okay. That's expensive. Home Depot is gonna see a weird amount of me again. They're like, girl, you're here every week, and I'm like, stop looking at me. I just need your electrical tape.
Could you? That's such a weird thing to think about. That like
Yeah.
you go into Home Depot, and the people that shop at Home Depot are suburban dads in their 40s and cosplay girls, and there's no like in between crowd.
Literally, I'm like, I'm here for your strongest glue, and there's like somebody's dad working on a deck, being like, I hate it here. This used to be a place of quality. Who let her in?
Home Depot used to be a nice place. Now you got all these cosplay girls asking about which kind of glue to use and what kind of tape to put on their nipples.
Absolutely. The answer is electrical tape for anybody listening. It's electrical tape.
Yeah, I imagine if you didn't, that would be a bad day.
I thought about using duct tape on my nipples.
Oh God! Well, I mean, if you want a free waxing, by all means.
I need it.
That would hurt so bad. Like,
I used to do a lot of burlesque before the world shut down, so I used to spend a lot of time on stage. And the way that you stick your pasties on is you need double-sided tape. So the other crowd that goes to Home Depot is burlesque dancers, and we're here for your outdoor carpet tape because that is the strongest you have.
I always thought the pasties were just adhesive on the other side.
Most of them are not. Most of them are homemade because you want to design them to fit your aesthetic, and buying them from like specific creators is really, really, really expensive.
I'm learning so much from this. Like,
that's so good.
Like, I feel like I'm opened up to a whole new world now. When I see like a cosplay girl, I'm gonna be like, that girl put a lot of work into that.
So
yeah,
and all she gets all the thanks she gets is someone commenting the tongue emoji 5 times.
Yeah. Come on, at least throw in some little devil horn emojis and a flame emoji. Like the tongue emoji is weak.
All they do is like the tongue emoji, the peach emoji, and then the water emoji, and that's what you get for all the hard work.
No eggplant.
Absolutely. I always thought that the water emoji was like insinuating piss, and it's good to know that it's not. That it's water.
What?
I was why is this here?
I mean,
maybe it does mean that for some people.
I always thought.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I wish the world was better, but it's not.
Thirst.
Yeah.
Like
Alex,
thirsting.
again, I'm glad this is... Oh, dude, don't do that again, please. Be happy you can't see us right now. Alex just did
good.
Weird.
Okay.
So it sounds like entertainment's kind of been a part of your life for a while. What was like the youngest where you like kind of started?
18.
No,
that's not what he meant.
That's a fair question.
Where's what age did you kind of get started?
In a sense, because I dance pole and I dance burlesque, and I've never danced like pole in a club because most of my content is like non-nude, just because I think it's way more fun, and like the idea of sexiness and sexuality is way more entertaining and interesting than just like somebody naked. That's kind of, I don't know, I find it almost boring. Maybe that's just because we've been overexposed to nudity in our culture in a sexual context, that I find it less interesting and less fun. So that being said, I've always been a performer. Like, I've always been involved in drama. For a little while, I owned and directed my own burlesque company, and I put on a couple shows, and then the pandemic happened, and I shut that down. And it was supposed to only be shut down for a few months, but then, like, it's a year later, and no venues have opened. So I kind of started to put more of my passion into cosplay and existing online. And also trying to help pay for my education and pay rent. I love not starving to death. I'm so passionate about not starving to death,
Aren't we all?
So that's kind of what's taken me there.
It's a good passion to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good passion to have. In this capitalist society.
The struggle of every day not dying is a big one.
Oh, God.
The college student only eating ramen,
Yeah, orange juice and peanut butter, baby. My best friend.
I ate pretty well as a student.
Oh, well, lucky you.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Good for you. You want a cookie?
Yeah. That's because my mommy packed my lunches.
Oh, that's so nice.
I'm kidding. We had like a little sort of cafeteria thing, and sometimes they mainly did like subs, but if you got there at like a certain time of day, you could actually get like a hamburger or something, which was always awesome.
Nice.
I could really go for a sub right now. That sounds so good.
That's X Games, because the cafeterias at my university were like, there's an overpriced Starbucks, and I think we have dusty meatballs that we're gonna run out of by noon.
Oh my god, we had the worst coffee on campus, and it was like they said they partnered with Starbucks, and then you'd go and get like a drink, and then be like, "This is awful." Like
You're like, this is not Starbucks. They're like, we partnered with Starbucks, and it's just them like going through Starbucks garbage to find old beans. And they're like,
everyone there, all the staff members looked at you like they hated you, and I'm sure they probably had a reason for that. I'm sure they're probably
probably
a-hole students coming by, being like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a doctor and make $10K a year, and look at you standing behind the counter."
Yeah, and they're like, shut up, I'm gonna spit in your coffee.
Yeah, that's why you always got to be nice to those people, because yeah, they will mess with your food.
They could.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, at least I can boast that social work doesn't really pay well. It's not like we're going into it for the money.
So what's like the cosplay community like?
You know, I stay out of it because it's pretty rough.
Alex wants to see if he can get with a hot cosplay girl, so he wants your advice on that.
Yes. Oh, fair enough. Okay, so like, you know, there's a lot of like gatekeep, girl boss, and like gaslight in that community, where if you're not exact, they're upset, or if it wasn't this kind of quality, they're upset, or there's a lot of sexualization of minors in a lot of media, as you mentioned before, which is very suspect. So I would say that the cosplay community is really, really riddled with like body shaming and pedophilia, unfortunately. But
it's kind of sad.
As with, it's actually funny you should mention that. Earlier today, I was watching this YouTube documentary on someone named like Trish something, and she was a kind of a cosplayer, but she had a bunch of mental problems and stuff. But
was
essentially,
this Trisha Paytas?
I think so, yeah.
But okay, all right, yeah, continue.
So she got body shamed a lot, and like a lot of people commented on the video, like, because this was in the earlier days of the internet. They were like, man, if this whole thing happened nowadays, like, she could probably like start an OnlyFans and make money. She wasn't unattractive. I mean, like,
No, I thought she was pretty cute too. I think I've seen like a little bit of her work, and I think she does have an OnlyFans now. If it makes you feel better, I think she does have money.
Okay, I'm not interested in that.
She's making the money now.
Yeah, good for her. But yeah, it is kind of a shame. I think body shaming always kind of goes. I think a lot of people.
The internet's a mean place.
Yeah, the internet's just a mean place.
Sure is.
It's funny because like most of the people that do the body shaming, like I think the way I always imagine is like a lot of these guys, and the guys really aren't like in amazing shape either. No one in good shape ever seems to actually do a lot of body shaming, because usually the people in good shape, at least the ones I've talked to, are always like really positive. They're like, yeah, you can get in this shape too. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you should be proud of yourself. I don't see a lot of like really, really in shape people ever body shaming. But maybe I'm just on happier corners of the internet.
It's almost like people like they get bullied, so they bully people, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like some 300-pound nerd dude behind his keyboard being like, Princess Leia wouldn't have a stomach that big. It's just like, dude, I bet if I walked in front of you right now, your like jaw would hit the ground because you haven't seen a woman in over a year.
You've never seen it. I'm like, I'm not even that hot. I just know that you're isolated.
Yeah.
You know, like I just know that this would kill you.
Like Jonah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said like Jonah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think part of that is just a sense of insecurity, right? It's just displacement of insecurity.
Yeah.
It's somebody to shame someone so they can feel like they have some sort of superiority or some sort of self-esteem.
That's why I do it, yeah.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate.
That's why he makes fun of me
unfortunate.
every time.
I also think it's because a lot of people look at cosplay like objects. It's just media to consume, and they forget that there's like a human being who made that, who's going to see that.
That is the biggest thing in terms of just like interacting with other people online. It's just like you do realize that's a person, and they always like, tend to like they either do what you said. They either like shame them and like overly bully them, or they like overly praise them. There's no middle ground of just like, hey, you're a fellow person, good job on this, or here's an area where you could improve. There's very few people that treat like someone like another person.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think it's hard too because there's a big depersonalization in it. Because we don't know anybody's story, and also nobody understands body language or tone. So, I can see how it would go wrong.
All right. Well, this was awesome. We're trying to keep our episodes a little shorter, so we're probably going to wrap this up. Would you like to tell people where they can find you? And we'll put the links in the description. So, Plug yourself.
Absolutely.
Plug your merch. Plug
You can-
yourself sounds wrong in this context.
All right.
Michael, you
Wow.
really
Yes.
had to
Thank
say
you
that?
so much. That's a much nicer way to say it than I've heard it
Ruined the
said before.
wholesome stream.
So.
I ruined the wholesomeness of the episode.
We were so close. We were so close to it. All right. Yeah, if you want to check out my Instagram, that's at Peony Felicity. If you want to check out my OnlyFans, it is also under Peony Felicity. Feel free to DM me, drop me a line, check me out. I'm very friendly. I don't bite unless you would like that. So hopefully I'll see y'all around.
Thank you, Penny.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. Thank you for braving it, being the first woman on the podcast.
Absolutely. A big step for womankind.
Yes. Finally, gender equality.
Hell yeah.
But like we've got it now, ladies. We can stop marching.
Yeah. All right.
After I was on this podcast.
Have a good one, and maybe this will inspire more women to talk with us. We haven't talked to a woman in like 6 months.
We'll get a whole 2 women followers.
Whole 2 more followers. All right. Thanks for coming on. Like I said, all of her info will be in the description below. As long with our info, we have a Discord. Join our Discord. Join our Instagram and our Twitter. And have a good one, everyone. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.